to welcome you to another episode of What is the Premise? My name is Bohdan, and I'm the pastor here at Tierra Santa Lutheran Church, and this is my friend and colleague, Pastor Paul Bieber.
The pastor of All Saints Lutheran Church, which is a couple of neighborhoods away.
That's fantastic. We're both in San Diego.
And grateful today, I was able to come over to Bohdan's place today and look at the books on his bookshelf instead of the ones on my bookshelf.
Fantastic.
Pretty good stuff there.
I like what you're saying. You got to come away from your office. And today, that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. We're going to talk about taking some time away. Most people would call it
a vacation.
That's it, a vacation. You're going to take a vacation from your office. Is it like a vacation to come over to my office?
It is. It's like a vacation to come over here. Because he has air conditioning and I don't.
That's so fantastic. So this idea of what is the premise of vacation?
That all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, even though none of us is called Jack.
Oh man, this is true. This idea that you're saying we need some time for recreation. Even I like it, in our confirmation curriculum. Thank you, Rich Melheim from Faith Incubators. He used to say recreation, and then he would spell rec, W-R-E-C-K, creation. You could recreation, or you could recreation.
So I thought you were going to go a different way. R-E-creation.
There you go. Recreation.
Right.
You could do that one or this other one where you wreck it.
Well, see, I wouldn't want to wreck it.
See, you wouldn't want, because it's a gift, and that God's given you a gift, and so how do you, take care of the gift that's you? What I just heard you say is, there might be a need for playtime.
God
Do you call it
knows
playtime?
About this. God knows about our need for recreation. That's why he gave us the gift of the Sabbath. It's right there in the Ten Commandments.
It is. What does that word Sabbath mean?
Hebrew scholar?
I believe it means rest.
It probably does.
I believe that the word Sabbath means rest. And so, God commanded a Sabbath, or he commanded a day of rest. And that idea that even when God works to create the world, he then does it in 6 days and takes a seventh day to rest. Exactly. And so when you think of vacation, though, do you like restful vacations? Or do you like active vacations?
Well, you see, one of the members of my family likes
I'm wondering if I can know which one it is. I think I know which one it is. Does her name start with an S?
Yes, it does. One of us, my wife Sarah, loves to do stuff on vacation.
That doesn't sound very restful.
You get up in the morning and you decide what you're going to do that day, and then you go do those things, and this is a great day.
That sounds exhausting.
To me, one of my favorite lines from a Beatles song. Sorry, it's inappropriate probably.
Sometimes we quote from Jesus, sometimes we quote from St. John.
Oh, that magic feeling, no place to go. Or is it nowhere to go? I don't know. Sorry. Anyhow.
I guess it wasn't a Beatles song.
It was a Beatles song.
Okay.
I just don't remember the exact word. I'm not a real Beatles.
I can hear a little bit of it in my ear right now. I can hear a little bit of it in my ear right now.
I have a lot to be humble about. I don't have the Hebrew scholarship that Bohdan has. I don't even remember the Beatles song I'm trying to quote. But it is a magic feeling having nowhere to go. I'm the restful vacation guy in our family.
Yeah, and so I think this idea of, when we think about, worship on Sunday, some people say, oh, that's how I observe the Sabbath. That's my Sabbath day. And I try to talk to people and I say, well, that might be worship, but I'm not sure that's rest.
Well, of course, what that person is doing is showing what a good Lutheran he or she is.
I love good Lutherans.
Because
are there bad Lutherans?
As you know, in Luther's catechisms, when he comes to the Sabbath command, he points out that for us Christians,
it should be a day of study and a day of some focus.
To respect the word and gladly hear and learn it, right?
That's right. So we should focus on some holy things.
And so we do that, and as Christians, of course, we do that on Sunday, the day of resurrection, and so back in like the 19th century, you even had people calling Sunday the Christian Sabbath.
Yeah.
So this is all kind of
it is, but let me push you on that a little bit. I like that you went to the catechism there, because most people who think of that, just think, well, I'm observing the Sabbath. But what the commandment actually says is, remember the Sabbath to keep it
holy.
Holy, you got it. So we got remembering and we got holiness. I mean, how do you remember the Sabbath? That means maybe it's a day devoted to certain things, or when we remember it, we even say that in Holy Communion. Do this in remembrance of me. And this idea of, what does it mean to remember? What does it mean to, remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy? Luther, when he's talking in that small catechism, at least to me, what I think he's trying to lift up is, it's not just a day of do nothing.
Right.
And that's different than a day of vacation. And so for me, one of my favorite, Harry Wendt, he often said there's a difference between Christian vacation and Christian vocation. That we do have a calling, and that it's not a calling to vacation. It's not a calling, even though we're saved by grace and there's nothing that we can add to it, it's not called to just vacation and the easy life. There is a vocation. There is a calling. There is something we are to do. But when we think about the premise of Sabbath,
there has to be some rest, or we will get burned out if we're just pursuing our vocation all the time and never take a vacation.
Right.
Many of our colleagues, as we were talking before the camera came on, are feeling quite burned out after over a year of the COVID pandemic. And trying to reinvent the wheel.
I thought you were going to say after a year of pastoring, it was just a regular, normal year of being a pastor.
But the pandemic year is even worse.
Oh, you want to make this not timeless. You want to make this specific time in history and in our society.
We are socially located.
We are. And so when you think about, though, this idea of vacation,
as something which is essential, and I think that I led you down the path by bringing in the catechism and Sunday and worship.
I appreciate it. You take me on a journey anytime, Paul. Come along with me. We'll take a journey.
Let us return to
Okay.
the Old Testament concept of Sabbath, which is in fact a day on which you are to do no laborious work. Right?
But is a day off the same as a vacation? Is the day off? See, this is what I was taught.
Day off is a little vacation.
Oh, really? See, this is what I found interesting. You get a day off. There's 5 days to work, and then in America at least we get 2 days of vacation. Some of us, not all of us, get that, and limits on how much work you can do every day, because you got to have some work-life balance. But this idea of actually taking some time away, is that different than a day off? And for me, when I was first a pastor, we had a continuing education from the synod. We all got together, and what the presenter was talking about was on burnout. And what he was talking about was self-care. Mm-hmm. And he had a wonderful children's book called Jesus' Day Off. It was fantastic. Nice. Jesus' Day Off, because one of the things Jesus does in the scriptures over and over again is he takes some time to go by himself.
He usually took a night off, though.
He takes a night off.
He goes go up the mountain and pray. Right?
That is true, but he would take time away. He would take time away from the crowds.
And the crowds would follow him wherever he went.
He'd going like swarms of hungry bees. There would be a plague. But this idea that, a day off is different from maybe a vacation. And so I don't know, if there's a difference.
Is it different in kind, or just different in quantity? Because when we talk about a long time away from our vocation, what that's customarily called is a sabbatical.
Ooh, right? I like this. We're getting into something. But let's talk about it. Sometimes people take a vacation from worship at church. What would that mean versus to take a Sunday off? If they just took a day off from church versus I'm going to take a vacation from worship.
Well, see, that's where this is where it gets confused again, because people say, "Oh, I can't."
I'm going to focus a little bit on your words here.
I can't go to the worship gathering because Sunday morning is the only time I don't have to be somewhere and do something. that's my only chance, Pastor, to sit down
Yeah.
with the newspaper, or more likely now the laptop, and my cup of coffee, and catch up on the events of the world. And so there's no sense in me having to get dressed and go to
Well,
church.
they needed some rest, Paul. You said we
Yes.
all
Well,
need
that's-
some rest. So they just were needing to self-care.
Yes.
And for me, what I liked in what you're saying is you're pushing to say, yes, self-care is good, but devoting time, to God. And what I've learned is God doesn't just want a day in your week. God wants to be all during your week.
Wants it
So
all.
God doesn't just want you to take one day to focus on Him and rest. You should be a part. God should be a part of every decision you make, all of your life. And so sometimes, as Christians, we think about this. One of my predecessors at the church in Fargo, North Dakota, Hollerin' Harry Olson. He died a couple years ago. Hollerin'
Does
Harry.
that have to
was
do with
fan-
his pulpit
I
style?
wonder if I got a nickname. Yeah, that was. Well, and Harry would, see you walking down the other side of the street, apparently, and Harry would go, "Hey!" And he would scream at you and,
It's a
come across and
very
talk.
frightening
Yeah, so
pastor.
Hollerin', he was the founder of the TV ministry there, but he wrote a famous book, forward by Tom Landry, called Monday Morning Christianity. And the premise of that book is, Christianity isn't just one day a week. It's not just, 1 hour a week. And so, I think today, as, our conversation has flowed a little bit.
Did
and
Tom
thinking,
Landry's piece have to do with Monday morning quarterbacking?
I think you got it. So that was the
yeah.
tie-in and this idea of,
Nice.
and Tom was a famous, Christian, I think.
Did you
He
ever
was
have
really
anybody do any Monday morning quarterbacking on the way you led worship?
Oh yeah, well
Sunday
they
before?
do it Sunday afternoon. It's kind of like the telestrator with the you carried that up wrong. Oh,
Good
look at that, we got a fumble of the host over here, and napkin purificator down.
yeah.
All of these church terms and technical terms. But
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
You got it. So they absolutely. Even one of my favorites is I had a church member on my first Sunday here say, "I didn't even realize how we did that until you did it wrong."
Great.
Is that Monday morning quarterbacking?
Everyone serves as some kind of an example, right? Oh my
And they were
God.
telling me that to make sure I got corrected for the next Sunday. So we're going to coach you. We'll get you back in the game. We'll get you back on track, and you'll do it right next time. But this idea of vacation, this idea that we need some time away. Maybe you need time away from worship. It's been interesting. As I hear people, as you've said about the pandemic, they talk about they've been away now.
Yeah.
And this idea of, what is it going to be like to be in person again? What's it going to be like to be connected? And things feel a little strange. But, one of my favorite things is we have a Navy wife. He was a captain in the Navy, and he's retired now. But she said once, well, if he doesn't go away, I can't miss him.
Isn't that an old country song? How can I miss you if you won't go away?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this idea of, vacation, sometimes you need time apart. Sometimes you need to see other places in the world. Do you think you need to go somewhere else to go on a vacation, or could you have a staycation, Paul? Could you have, I think about that. We live in San Diego, and one of the things I think about is people from all over the world come to San Diego.
It's a vacation destination.
Yeah, all I got to do is go down the street. I don't even have to get on a plane or go anywhere. I get to go to world-class beaches down. Do you have a favorite beach in San Diego?
Yeah, probably Pacific Beach. But what you were talking about here with the forced separations of the pandemic, and people being, glad to be getting back together. At least that was my experience. People, when we reopened and started doing things a little bit more like the way we used to do it before, all the various restrictions, I had all these expressions of gratitude from people in the congregation that I serve. Oh, it's so great to be back together again. It's so great to be doing this again, doing that again. They were noticing. I mean, it's like the other side of the coin from your parishioner who said, until you messed that up, I didn't even realize what the right way was to do it. There were people saying, it was almost as though they were saying, I didn't know how much I missed this.
Interesting.
Until I had gone away,
Yeah.
and of course you can run into that with people going on vacation as well.
Right.
Particularly the place I served in Chicago, which is a very unique very worship-centered kind of congregation, and people would always come back from vacation saying, Pastor, I went to church while I was in, whatever, some other place, but I couldn't find a place like Mediator.
Oh, what a compliment.
There just is no other
what
place
a compliment.
like this. Yeah.
Oh, no place like home. I think
Right.
that's what I used to learn from vacation. As summers, my dad, we didn't get to stay in hotels. We didn't have a RV. We got to do tent camping and sleep on the ground.
Ooh.
So I appreciated
Back to nature.
I appreciated my bed a
Didn't
lot.
have to
When
be-
I got home, I appreciated a bathroom that had running water and
Yeah.
a shower. And is that what a vacation is? What do you think? A premise of a vacation? Are you supposed to go and see the joys of other places, or are you supposed to say, "Man, I'm glad to be home"?
Well, isn't it both?
Oh,
It's
isn't that
a
nice?
both and.
Isn't that nice when he tries to pull that? But
Well,
do you have a preference?
Because when you go, when it's not an enforced thing like the pandemic stay-home orders, right? When you're saying, "I'm going to go to some other place. I'm gonna go ahead and take that long plane flight, and head off to some other place that's exotic to me. It's not exotic to the people that live there, but it's exotic to me, and I'm going to go and experience this and learn and grow and all kinds of wonderful things on my vacation, and then I'm going to come home, put my bags down, hug my dog and say, thank God I'm home."
Yeah.
I think you gotta enjoy the outward journey, or else why are you doing it? But if you don't enjoy the homeward journey, then what? Then how come you don't love your home more?
Homeward journey. I think
Yeah.
that's a fantastic place to leave you guys with today. I hope that you've enjoyed another episode of What is the Premise? And today we're just grateful to be able to think a little bit about how much we love home and how much we love to leave it sometimes.
Both. It's a both and. Thanks, everybody.
God bless.
Bye.